Welcome back to Mental Wellness Evolution. I'm Jeff. Thanks for being here. Tonight we're talking about how changing your inner world ultimately changes your outer world. Okay, guys? So there's a few things that tie into this, okay? So first and foremost, when we start doing the work on ourselves, we start getting rid of some of the things that are going on inside of ourselves. We start doing the shadow work. We start bringing up those old emotions. We start dealing with the things and the wounds and all the old subconscious programming and stuff. Immediately we're going to see reactions in just like our mood, our state, how we are on a moment to moment, on a day to day basis. It offers us so much relief from all of this stuff that's kind of been holding us down, that's kept us kind of tied down in the past, that's kept us tailored to an old life and the way that we've always done it. Okay, so that's an immediate reaction from what's going on inside of us. And this is why it's important, guys, for just the day to day living. When we really start dealing with these things, we start being better in every facet of our life. I talk about doing the changes. We do them on a day by day basis, and as we do this, we become better men, we become better partners, we become better sons, we become better brothers, we become, better uncles, we become better co-workers, we become better for everyone and everything around us in the entire world. Okay, so this is why it's important to start prioritizing our internal state. What is keeping us from feeling elevated states every day? What thoughts and emotions and things are kind of keeping me tied to the past? What do I have to deal with inside of myself in order for me to be the best me that I can be on a day-to-day basis, guys? Now, this takes some work. There's a lot of things that kind of go about this. We talked about accountability yesterday and holding yourself accountable. As you do that and you start to do this work, you're going to reap the benefits of your labors, guys. I promise you, there's no time wasted working on yourself. Like, we're the greatest project that we will ever go about working on. So why not turn it into a beautiful sculpture? Okay, guys, this gets into stuff like self-regulating and things like that, learning to regulate our internal state, where we're not so lost in our thought processes all day long, every day, with the incessant stream of garbage that's kind of going on. We start learning to disconnect, allowing ourselves the space to feel the emotions, and as a result, we don't get caught in the thoughts just as quickly as we can be. We allow ourselves the space to feel. We allow the emotions the space to move through us. And they say too that no emotion can last inside of the body for longer than 90 seconds, as long as we don't get our thought processes involved. So we start doing that. We start allowing ourselves the space to have those things. And as we start to bring up some of these old wounds, we start to heal, we start to work through them, we start to become better. You're going to start to find, as a byproduct, that these things don't affect you anymore. Some of the stuff that used to just drag you down into the absolute pits and down into the dirt, now that you've done the work and got it out of you, it doesn't affect you in the same way anymore. And it allows you more freedom and more peace in your day-to-day life. And you're able to just kind of move through with a little bit more of a kind of an upbeat, a little bit more confidence in your step. You're going to feel better. You're going to look better. All of these things are going to be a result of it, guys. We start doing that internal work. We start working on what's going on inside of us. And it's just going to pay ultimate dividends for us in our everyday lives. Okay, guys? And the next reason that this is super important is we start getting into natural law, which is the natural laws of the universe. And the number 2 law of the natural laws of the universe is called the Law of Correspondence. And I'm sure you've heard this before: as above, so below, as within, so without. What happens as far as manifesting and what's showing up in your reality on a day-to-day basis is a result of what's going on inside of you. So if you have a lot of chaos, darkness, you think of like people who are always like talking about how they never have enough money and everything just seems to go wrong for them all the time and they can never be able to save money and all of those types of things. This is the law of correspondence in action, guys. So what is going on inside of us, what we're consistently feeling, what we're consistently focusing on, what we're continuously saying is going to be what shows up in the world. That's just a natural law of the world. This is kind of like law of attraction, but there's a little bit deeper element to it, okay? So this is why it's important to work on ourselves, because hey, if we can get ourselves into a place where we're focusing on, our passions and our dreams and our goals and where we want to go, and we're investing our energy, by natural law, the universe is going to start conspiring with you to make those things a reality. Think of a person who just pours their heart and soul into something that they just genuinely love with no real desire, and the next thing they know, they turn it into a profitable business or something because they're just putting themselves into it, and their heart and their mind And then they have the generative principle, which is the guts to go after what they want in their lives. But this is what they focus. This is what they spend their time on. This is your spiritual energy, guys. You pay attention. You spend time on things. When you utilize your time on things that are of value to you, when you focus on developing skills, gaining knowledge, gaining wisdom, those things are going to start to manifest forward in your life. In the same way that if you continuously focus on problems and hatred and division, which is all over the place in the world nowadays, the media is literally stoking this fire because the people at the top understand the universal principles and are ultimately using them against us, okay? So we need to understand how this works, guys. These universal laws are something that everybody needs to know, and I'm going to start throwing them in and showing how they affect you in your day-to-day life so you can start to gain an understanding of how these things work, because not only on the macrocosm, which is above, the microcosm. So we're the microcosm as the self. The macrocosm is the universe. So what we do in the micro, what we do to ourselves, has to show up in some way in the macro, as above, so below. So we start to understand that it's very important for us to really spend our time wisely. What do I want to focus on? What do I want to pay attention to? What's going on inside of me? I don't want to sit and dwell in negative thinking, because if you sit and dwell in negative thinking, that's going to be what shows up in your life. It's universal law. It has to happen that way, okay? But on the inverse of that, if we're actually focusing on, prosperity and abundance and goodness and joy and love and our passions and the things that we love, it has to come back to us, guys. But we have to do the generating, which is the generative principle. We have to have the guts to do this. When you understand it, you're not going to be able to just sit there and think. We want to get out and move. And as we get moving in the world, that's going to start to generate the results in our external world as well. As we start, hey, you have a passion for something that you really, really love, that you've got going on inside of yourself, something you've really wanted to do, really wanted to get going after. Just take a step, guys, and wonder what's going on holding people back. It's always fear. It's fear of judgment, fear of what others are going to think, fear of what people are going to say. And I know people will even watch this talk and think, oh, laws of the world. No, these are immutable principles. They're laws of the world. And they're things that nobody knows or nobody understands. And in a lot of ways, this has been called occult knowledge, which literally just means from the Latin occultus, which means hidden, or occultare, which means to hide, to conceal. So it's literally just hidden knowledge. Now, can these principles be used for nefarious purposes? Absolutely. But when we understand this, we can apply this in our own lives. When we understand that I need to be as good as I can inside of me, because what's going on within me, within my own mind and my own emotions, is going to show up in the world. The first law of the universe is mentalism, that everything starts as thoughts. So think about that, okay? So your thoughts affect, and then as above, so below, what's going on inside of you is going to show up in your external world. So what are you thinking about all the time? And the thoughts are what drives the emotions inside of us, which keeps us trapped in the thinking and feeling and drives us back into the ego, and we spin around and go round and round and round in circles, okay? But when we start doing that work on ourselves, we have less stuff inside of us for our thoughts to get trapped on. And when we start disconnecting from our thoughts, learning to give them space, that we allow the emotional states that we're feeling inside of ourselves to move through ourselves, all of a sudden we don't get stuck in the thought processes anymore. We take our focus back. Where focus goes, energy flows. So whatever you're putting your focus on is going to be what shows up in your world. So if you can focus on things that make you happy and joyful, your passions, the things you love, whatever it is, more of that is going to come back to you in the world. So, and again, this is just like anything. What you put out, you're going to get back. Start giving more love in the world, and you're going to get more love back in your life. Start being more generous in every facet of your life, and it'll come back to you. It's universal law. It has to happen that way, guys, okay? So start prioritizing your internal state with the realization, guys, and the understanding that what you're feeling, what is going on inside of you, is going to be what shows up in your external world. If you put a priority on feeling good as much as you can, now obviously we're not robots, guys. It's not perfect. Like, we're going to all have times, but we need to understand that we can't stay stuck there. Because if we keep fixating on all our problems and all the things wrong with the world and all of this and that and the other thing, we're just putting that out into the world, like, you want problems, here's more problems for you to focus on. Oh, you never have you never have enough money. Hey, okay, check it out. Here, have some more not money, okay? We almost have to get to the end to get exactly what we actually want to get out of life. You have to get to that feeling of abundance before you can be blessed with abundance. This is also gets into law of vibration and things like that, but we'll get into that later, okay? But this is why it's so important to prioritize what's going on inside of you guys, because when we can handle our emotional states, we allow them to move through, we don't get caught up in the thought processes, that it frees up the focus to start focusing on the things that actually bring us joy and love and compassion and those types of things, which ultimately drives thoughts of those same things, which ultimately is going to be what manifests for you in your physical reality. Okay, guys, that's the law of correspondence. Also ties in with the law of mentalism, which all is mind. So start paying attention to these things, guys, because there's more at play than just your day-to-day lives. We're literally co-creating our reality on a moment-to-moment basis. Nothing is fixed. We have the ability to change what's going on outside of us at any time, but it all starts with us dealing with what's going on inside of ourselves. Okay, guys? So have a great night. We'll catch you all on the next talk.